Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I'm talking about two players. I'm talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebackers Dion Jones and Anthony Walker Jr., and if these are the veteran linebackers that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need. Because whenever we've been discussing the inside linebacker position throughout this offseason, everybody has been talking about add a veteran, add a veteran, add a veteran. And I completely agree with that, by the way. But on April 1st, Todd Bowles had this to say whenever he spoke on what he saw on film from new linebacker Anthony Walker Jr. I thought he was a very smart football player on film. He fills gaps. He understood the game. When he was out there and he was healthy, we really thought he played some very good football. He did a lot of things that we really like. His zone drops were great. How he read the guards and tackles were great. How he communicated was great. Just his presence about him when meeting him was very good. I thought he really did a lot of things that we like to do defensively, so that kind of helped us out when we decided to sign him. Then, on if he sees competition at the inside linebacker position, Todd Bowles said, yeah, there's definitely competition. I see competition everywhere. We're not giving anybody's spots away. They've got to earn them. You've got to do the things you did the year before, and probably even better in some cases, because if somebody comes in and takes your spot, it's taken. Now, in all the Bucs off-season workouts and stuff like that, I'm talking about mini camps, OTAs, things like that. Dion Jones has been making a couple of plays. He's had an interception here and there, received praise from Todd Bowles after practice. Same thing with Anthony Walker. These guys have been on Todd Bowles' mind. So I did want to take a look at their overall numbers from their seasons past and break down. Hey, are these... Look, I know everybody's saying Bucs need to add a veteran. Bucs need to add a veteran. Well, they did add a veteran in Anthony Walker Jr., and they already had a veteran on the team in Dion Jones. So are these the veterans that Bucs fans have been clamoring for the whole time? Or should they add somebody else, right? Well, firstly, in the case of Anthony Walker Jr., look, you take a look at his overall numbers from last year, it wasn't great. I mean, a total snap count of 516, to be honest. That is the lowest amount of snaps he's played in a good while, right? I mean, he was certainly playing a lot more snaps in 21, 2020, 2019, 2018, right? Things kind of fell off a cliff after that 21 season in Cleveland. I believe he was hurt in that 22 season, but then after that, he was kind of relegated to a backup type of role. In Miami, a defensive grade of 48.0. That's the second worst in his career so far to this point. Now, a run defense grade of 69.5. That's the best in his career so far to this point. So we know that Anthony Walker Jr. can be a good run defender, right? In terms of tackling, 59.1. That's kind of below average in terms of where he has been in terms of his career, in terms of tackling. In fact, he missed 9 tackles last year. It's pretty rough, right? And you see he's had some higher percentages in terms of missing tackles in the past as well. Again, just something to keep an eye on. Pass rush, I don't really consider that for inside linebackers, but then in coverage grade, he had his worst coverage grade of his career last season with a 39.1. So what we need to see from Anthony Walker Jr. for him to make an impact, honestly, if he showcases what he did in 23 with the Cleveland Browns, where he posted a 71.1 grade, that was the second best in his career, a coverage grade of 76.8, that was the third best coverage grade of his career, even a run defense grade of 59.1, that's above average for his career. That is a good version of Anthony Walker to have, right? You certainly hope that he can be more of a 23 Anthony Walker than a 24 version of Anthony Walker, okay? So, I think that he is going to be a guy that is going to compete for linebacker 2 snaps, possibly with a guy like SirVocea Dennis, but at this point, I may very well give the nod to a guy like SirVocea at that point. Next, you've got Dion Jones, who the Buccaneers brought in last year. He only played 18 snaps in the Washington game, did pretty good, all things considered. I mean, a defensive grade of 74, tackling grade of 74, coverage grade of 71, wasn't bad, right? Wasn't bad at all. Now, in previous seasons, okay, really Dion Jones was great. All up until after that 2020 season, okay? After that, I mean, the dude was a high caliber starting linebacker for the first 5 years of his career. It looks like he did have some injury stuff in 2018 and 2019. But after that 2020 season, right, you start to see the struggles, okay? I mean, a very bad 34 defensive grade in 21. A very bad 33 defensive grade in 21, right? 22, things got a little bit better with the Cleveland Browns, right? They did improve. Things did improve more with the Carolina Panthers, and then they improved yet again in the very, very short stint that he had with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is important to note that he is over 30 at this point. He's 30 and a half years old. By the end of this upcoming season, he will be 31. So where would be a good point to see Dion Jones end up? Well, I think if he ends up being more so what we saw in that 2020 Atlanta Falcons, right? If he can regain that form, that's a good place to be for Dion Jones. Whereas these 2 years with Cleveland and Atlanta were just really bad, right? And heck, I would even argue if you got more Carolina Panthers Dion Jones and what we saw in that very small snippet of Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, Dion Jones, you have two legitimate options, right? But right now, these guys are good leaders because they've been around the game for so long. In terms of players, you hope that both these guys can rebound from their recent history, right? You hope that they can look more like former versions of themselves than the most recent versions of themselves and get back to that standard. Maybe defensive scheme is a big part of that. Maybe having good running mates next to you is a big part of that as well. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I am still of the mindset, after looking at these numbers and you know, thinking about it, they could still use another veteran, and there's a lot of good options out there. You have some guys like Jawan Bentley, some other names like Jermaine Pratt Jermaine Pratt is gone. He signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Maybe go out and get a guy like Jawan Bentley, bro. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions about Anthony Walker Jr. and Dion Jones. What are your thoughts and opinions on both these guys? I would love to hear it down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.